Hey, 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 it is an unstoppable day. It's your host, Terrence Leftridge, with Unstoppable Coaching Services, with a special edition of the Unstoppable Authors Showcase. Here, we talk to fascinating authors with unstoppable stories that they have written so that they can share their message to the masses. And we bring this show to you so that you can get to know our authors and that you'll be moved to take some action by ordering their books and getting involved with their ministry and any other thing that they may be doing. As I said, I'm your host, Terrence Leftridge with Unstoppable Coaching Services, where we hold you accountable to living the life you were created to live. And we have a special guest on the show today. She is Lynn Meyer, and she is the author of the book, No More, No More. And she is sharing with you her story to let you know that when being a victim of sexual abuse is no longer an option, how you can move from awareness into action. So let's talk a little bit about this amazing author. She's a world class licensed professional counselor specializing in judgment free therapy since 2003. Her unique therapeutic system will teach you valuable tools on how to make your life better, even if it's not what you wanted to hear. She'll help you develop a plan for change based on her very own personal feelings and priorities. Whether you're dealing with depression, abuse, sexual or physical or emotional abuse, ineffective communications, mood disorders, or trauma, Lynn is committed to helping you set free. And she is committed and she's very passionate about what it is that she does. So, without further ado, we want to welcome to the broadcast the author of the book No More, Miss Lynn Meyer. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. How you doing, Lynn? I am doing great. Welcome to the Unstoppable Author Showcase. You are truly an unstoppable author, and we want to showcase you this evening. So, why don't we just start by what I like to do is I like to ask every person that we showcase this one very important question. And it's just this simple question: what does it mean to you when you hear the word unstoppable?
Oh, what that means to me is that nothing will get in my way. No circumstance, no experience, no person, no excuse, no situation will get in the way of my assignment and what I need to do. So when I hear unstoppable, that's me.
I love it. When she hears unstoppable, that is her. I couldn't say it any better myself. But you have come up with this fascinating book, and we're going to get more information about it as we go through this interview today. But I always tell my audience that I think the author can describe themselves and tell their story far better than I can or any bio can. So why don't you just take a couple of seconds to introduce yourself on the Unstoppable Author Showcase?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as stated before, I am Lynn Meyer and I am a licensed professional counselor. I've been in the field, believe it or not, almost 20 years. And I got in the field simply because people need help, they need assistance. And I love assisting people and helping people. And so, face to face client contact is my absolute favorite. I've been in the field as a director and all those things, but I love to help people. I like to see them go from the bottom all the way from transformation to the top. So that's what I do. I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I'm all those things, but I am a servant of God and I allow him to use me for his mission and for my assignment. So that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. And you're a mom, you're a wife, you've got 5 beautiful children. I got a chance to meet them a little while ago. They are definitely precious. And I'm pretty sure they motivate you each and every day as you work along with others. Is that true?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I know when I'm working for working with others, I want my children to see that mommy is special. Mommy can do all these things, but also for them to know that they can do these things as well. So they motivate me in so many different ways.
I love it. We're talking with Lynn Meyer. She's the author of the book No More. But Lynn, we've had an opportunity to talk with each other,
Mhm.
and the person that you are today isn't exactly the person you were for quite some time. If we're going to be honest, if we're going to be transparent, you weren't actually living an authentic life for a while ago. Why don't you tell us what made you not live an authentic life and how
Mhm.
you've healed yourself and why it's important to you right now?
Well, you're absolutely correct. I was not living an authentic life. I actually call it a counterfeit life. And anyone that has heard that word before, that's something that's trying to pass itself off as being real. And I smile now because I know I was in a dark place and that's what I was doing. And so at that time, I was living that counterfeit life where I was pretending and no one knew that I was hurting. And I also did it so well that I kind of fooled myself sometimes, getting me to the place of not wanting to be counterfeit or being disingenuous or just not being authentic. I decided that it was time for me to heal. And so if I was going to heal, I could no longer be counterfeit. And it's good that you asked me that question because I think about like the part that I wrote in the book, and I hope I can read this. The part that I wrote in the book, it talks about me having this counterfeit life. And excuse me, for those that watch, when you get older, you start wearing glasses. And so I have to put them on so I can read and so I can give you exactly what I said. And I just wanted to read just a little bit of the book No More. So when I talk about having that counterfeit life, because I feel like this will explain it a lot. Um, when you have money that looks like it's appealing and it's real, you can pass it off as being real. And so people get excited because they think they're holding the real thing. And so what was happening to me that I was fake. No one knew that they had a counterfeit bill in their hand. And if they just put a lighter to it, it was set ablaze. So the worst part is it can be passed off to many people because to the natural eye, you can't tell if it's counterfeit or not. Unless you are a person with that trained eye or you have that magic pen, you would not be able to tell. So when I look at it, I was walking around being counterfeit and nobody had that keen eye. Nobody had that pen. Nobody dared to tell me that I was living fake. Everybody was thinking I was a real deal, but I was really living a counterfeit life. Yep, I was being phony. I was messed up. That's exactly what I did. I think this is why God has blessed me with the spirit of counsel because I've been seeing that disingenuous people, and I was one of those people. I was just counterfeit as hell, and I know that that may be a bit much for people, but when you walk around and you're being counterfeit or being fake, you're only hurting yourself. And so I knew I was doing that, and so it was time for me to come out of that type of life.
Absolutely. I understand that. And part of why you were being counterfeit, did it have to do with things that you weren't facing as well? Because I mean, we understand, and there's this quote that I want to share as we continue to talk with Lynn Meyer about her book, No More. There's a quote that says, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And that seems to be an overriding theme, at least in the beginning of your book. Were you perhaps living this counterfeit life because it was easier to be counterfeit than to face what was going on in your life?
Absolutely. So yeah, when you think about it, no one wants to be held accountable. I know I did not want to be held accountable. And if I were to be held accountable, I was going to have to change that counterfeit life. So it was easy for me to pretend because I'm a performer and I'm a performer by trade. I sing, I dance, I perform, I love an audience. And so that fit me well. And so it was best to continue to be in that performer mode because I knew had I come out of the performer mode or off the stage, I had to be real and I had to do that. And I wasn't ready to do that at the time. So that's how I lived my life for many years until I was like 20 something years old.
Oh wow! So it become like second nature to you. You weren't. You probably half the time didn't even recognize that you were being counterfeit versus being authentic. Would you say?
I would say, I mean, it was second nature so much to where I didn't even know when I was being fake anymore. Like it just It was just like being fake was the normal for me. And I woke up being fake, went to sleep being fake, all day with relationships at work being fake. And so that's all I knew to do. And that's all I was comfortable doing because I didn't want to face what was real. I did not want to face it.
Wow. So we're talking to author Lynn Meyer. The book is called No More, and she's telling us her unstoppable story. And she's also telling us in reading from her book that is out, and we're going to give you information on how you can get a copy of the book and how you can get more involved with the things that Lynn is doing. But now, Lynn, I want to really give our audience a full picture because you weren't just living this counterfeit life because you didn't have anything else to do with your life. There was a reason. There was a defining moment that occurred in your life or over your life that brought you to this point where you decided that you were going to say no more.
Right.
Can you share with us what was happening in your life that had you living this counterfeit life, and then how you made this transition into doing that no more?
Absolutely. So what happened with living the counterfeit life? The book is based off my life, and I was sexually abused by my father, my biological father, and my mom knew about it. And so when most people hear that, they're like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yes, this is what happens. And this is why people stay quiet because nobody wants to deal with it, which led me to being with two people in my life that should have protected me, that never protected me. And so I had to protect myself. And then the way for me to protect myself was to be fake, was to be phony, was to be counterfeit. So I did that the majority of my life, as I stated before. And I would say 2002, which is when I noticed that this counterfeit life was getting too daunting. It was tedious. Like it was too much for me. I really lived a tumultuous life, and I decided that I wanted to change. So I would say 2002 is when I decided to love myself, because all that time I didn't love myself. I liked certain things about myself, and you know, it was okay. You know, I was okay, but I didn't love myself. And then at that moment, 2002, May 22nd, 2002, I decided, okay, the phoniness has to come off, the fake has to come off, because if you continue with that, you won't heal. And I'm all about healing. And I realized that I was hurting in so many different areas, professional, platonic, business, everywhere in my family. I was hurting so much. I knew I could not continue with that fake life. And so that was the change for me. I literally said, okay, enough is enough. No more do I want to have this type of life. And no more do I want to continue to be a victim.
So you decided no more, you wanted to do that. And as that point, I assume that you probably started walking in your purpose, right?
Absolutely. I started walking in my purpose. I knew, but see, this is what's funny though, Terrence, like a lot of people, because I was one of those people too. I knew my purpose was to help people, but I didn't know how I needed to help people. I was always a giving person. I always had a helping hand, but I didn't know it was going to be in the way that I was going to help emotionally, with thoughts and feelings. I didn't know that. So my purpose was always there. I think I ran from my purpose because I didn't want to have, I didn't want that over my head. I didn't want to have that responsibility of having this assignment of helping people heal.
And I can appreciate that as well, because for many years in my life I thought that I knew I loved helping people, but I just didn't know how to help people. And then the other side is that I was so comfortable in my own skin at the time, comfortable in my own situation, that complacency set in. You know, I didn't have a tragic story like yours, but I had a story of living average and having that disease. And it was only until I had my own defining moment that I was able to find my purpose. So, and many people who are probably watching this live or who are probably going to watch the replay are going to recognize that in your own life, you have a defining moment, and that defining moment is what sets your purpose. So, what would you say clearly is your purpose right now? I know you said helping people, but how do you specifically define your purpose right now?
So my purpose is my assignment. And I know they're the same, but I use assignment because assignment motivates me. An assignment keeps me going and it keeps the drive in my spirit. And I received my assignment from God. So knowing that My assignment is to help people heal from past wounds, from past emotional abuse, just really let them know. And I say this to my clients, and I also say to people, healing, restoration, and transformation are possible. And so that is my assignment, to let people know they can come out from what they're dealing with, to come out from the brokenness, to come out from the bitterness, to come out from not wanting to forgive, because all of that is keeping you sick. And I do say sick because we feel bad when we hold on to that. So that is my assignment, that I'm to go back, because I came out, I will reference Harriet Tubman. She left, she freed herself, and she went back and got other people. So that's what I did. I came out. And so now I'm going back to get other people to let them know you no longer have to be in bondage.
I love it. That is so powerful. We're talking to Lynn Meyer, the author of the book No More: When a Victim Decides is no longer that a victim of sexual abuse decides is no longer an option. We're going to give you information on how you can get your copy of this book later on in the show. But you found your purpose, and how did you go from finding your purpose to telling your story to deciding to talk about this very sometimes traumatic, very sometimes awkward, sometimes probably you had a little bit of a shame there to tell your story? But how did you elevate yourself to the point of now you wanted to put it in a book?
I found that it was necessary. Now it's necessary. And I realized writing the book, because I had this in my spirit for many years. I would say I was like 20 something years old. And I said, oh, I need to write a book. Okay, well, I will be 47. And so I said, okay, you need to write this book. And guess what? It's not about you. It's about those that need it. It's about those that are going to receive it as a gift. It's about those that are going to find it and read it and understand that you're not alone. So once I remove myself from it, and remove the shame and remove the guilt and remove all of that I felt like was on my life, I was going to expose my family. Once I removed all of that, I knew that this book had to be written, because so many people are being affected by that, by sexual abuse and domestic violence, because I'm also a victim. I'm sorry. I was a victim of domestic violence, as well as my father tried to take my mom's life. But this book was not for me. It was written for those that didn't have a voice, those that needed to be heard.
And there are so many people out there, and I know you have some statistics that you want to share with us about just how serious not only domestic violence but sexual abuse is in our society today. So why don't you share some of the facts that you share with us in the book, No More?
Yeah. So when you think about it, domestic violence, sexual abuse period is all near and dear to me, simply because people need the information. And when I look at it, and I'll have to read from here because I don't want to misquote anything, every 73 seconds, every 73 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted. An American is sexually assaulted. And within that time frame, every 9 minutes is a child. Every 9 minutes. You think about, we have 60 minutes or an hour, but every 9 minutes a child is sexually abused. And what's alarming is because it's not just men. I mean, it's not just women, it's men too. And when I found the stats of that, it says 40 of 32 men reported. But then you find that women reported more because they are not as ashamed as men. But then I want to go back to the children, simply because this happened to me when I was a child. The children, 2 out of 3 children are dealing with this, ages of 12 and 17. So, and the statistics of who it is, 7% are strangers, 59% are acquaintances, and then you have 34% as family. So this is why it's kept a secret. You see the percentage when you know someone is more, 59% of acquaintances and 34 of family. This is the reason why people need this book. This is the reason why people need to understand that you need to listen when someone tells you about this, because it's happening. It's happening. 73%, 73 seconds, every American is sexually assaulted. And every 9 minutes, a child. That's alarming to me.
Absolutely, and that's one of those things. Especially the fact that just sticks out with me is what you actually went through. The
Mhm.
34% of sexual abuse cases are done by family people that you are supposed to be inherently able to trust, people that are supposed to be natural protectors of you, people that are supposed to hold your life mentally, physically, and spiritually in the highest regard. And
Exactly.
there's a statement that old folks would say is nobody can do you like family. And that
Mhm.
is so true in your case and these 34% of other cases that you just mentioned, would you say?
Yeah, it's bad. And when I think about that statement alone is what's keeping families hurting and sick. Because what is the other thing as we grew up? And what would they say? What is the other thing that is being said? Don't tell our business. You keep
Right,
that in the house. And when you keep
right.
it in the house, then that the person at the time is not able to receive that. They won't have a voice of being heard. They're just not, because no one is going to believe them. How can I go and I tell my counselor? How can I go and tell my teacher if my mom or my dad says, "Don't you tell anybody"? That's scary.
Yeah. And now that you are a parent yourself, now you look at it from the other side of the coin. How are you going to be able to be receptive if it ever, God forbid, happens to your children, whether it's by family or by strangers or by someone that they know? How are you ever going to be able to instill in them to come to you and come to their father and to share that type of information if it's been passed down from generation to generation? That's not the thing to do. So I see that you have five other reasons why you wanted to get this message out. But let's talk about why you decided to do the book now.
It was time. It was time. Terrence, it was time simply because, like I said, I found my voice. I'm strong, I'm bold, I'm courageous, and it was time. It not only needed to come out of me, but it needed to be presented, like I stated before, because others don't think they have a voice. Because at one point, I didn't think I have a voice. So it was time for my voice to be heard, but for the healing for others to happen. And so right now, it was published last year, but right now was the time, simply because I couldn't sit on it anymore, because I felt like keeping it on the inside, I was doing a disservice to those people that needed to hear it. So it couldn't sit in my spirit anymore, and so it pretty much just had to come out.
I greatly agree. We have a comment from the feed saying that child abuse is even higher during this pandemic. So, depending on when someone is watching this,
Yeah.
there is a crisis that's going on in our country. And this crisis is causing us to shelter in. And because of that sheltering in, there's quote closed quarters. And that's going to unfortunately affect the possibilities of abuse to escalate. What do you say to families that might potentially see that escalation happening? How's this book going to be able to help them?
It's going to be able to help simply because those that get it or receive it as a gift, they're going to see that you need to open your ears, you need to open your eyes, you need to pay attention. Not all children lie. I mean, yeah, children make jokes, they make up things, but when someone has brought that to you, when your child has brought that to you, when your niece has brought it to you, whomever it is, listen to them. So I feel like this book is going to open their eyes for them to say, "Oh my God, this happened to her when she was so small and no one was listening," or it happened to her when her mom was right there and her mom didn't protect her. And so it's going to be very important or imperative to get this book, because it shows you, like I said, it shows you from the pain to the power, and how I went from that to this. Children are hurting. People are hurting, but children are hurting because, again, that old saying, um, seen and not be heard. And so that it's just horrible. So it's going to be very important to have that. And I think it was Ira that mentioned the comment. It's in that it is that's what's happening. This pandemic, it has the perpetrators at home with the children,
Yes.
perpetrators at home with the women, or the men, the women with the men, because men are being abused too. So it's very important to be vigilant. It's very important to have your eyes open, because don't say it won't happen to my family or it won't happen in my family. It's happening in your family.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so just being open and honest about what can happen is going to be very important in these times.
We're talking with Lynn Meyer. She is the author of the book No More When Being a Victim of Sexual Abuse is No Longer an Option. You can see the cover on the screen right now. And as we get to the end of the broadcast, we'll be sharing the information on how you too can get a copy of this book and get engaged with Lynn on a deeper level so that you can see how she feels about the book, what she's experienced with the book as a result of writing the book, and what she's doing now that she has the book out, what her purpose is she's putting into action, and what her ministry is creating. And so before we talk about that, Lynn, let's talk about absolutely how you're feeling now that you've written this book and it's been out almost a year. What type of feelings are you experiencing now that you've actually put this to pen to paper and made this a reality?
Actually, what I'm feeling now is what you see on my face. I pretended for a long time to be happy, but I am genuinely happy. Um, because I accepted love into my life. Like, so many things are happening. I'm experiencing a genuine care for myself and for others, and love. And what I'm most excited about is that now that the book is out, those that have already purchased the book have come back to me and they have said, "Thank you so much for writing this for me. I didn't tell you when we were in school, but it happens to me." Or people will text message me or message me from Facebook and was like, "Because of your book, my daughter wants to go to counseling now." Or I'm 56 years old, and this happened to me when I was 6 years old, and I feel like I'm a 6-year-old girl in a 56-year-old body. But thank you for writing. So I'm just like, I have all these emotions that I knew my assignment was to help, but I didn't know it was going to come back like that. I was like, oh God, this is why you told me to write this book. And had I been obedient years prior, I would have had it out before then. But it's all in time. And so the experiences and like emotions are overwhelming, because I know that this book is healing. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
And it sounds like the book is not only healing you, but it's healing others who have had the opportunity to read the book as well. And that is a beautiful thing. You know, Lynn, many of us have to go through in order to grow through. And it's a sad statement, but favor ain't fair. And sometimes for us to get the lesson and to be able to share the lesson, we've got to go through what God has placed in front of us. And they say, before you can have a testimony, you've got to have a test. And you went through the test, and now you've got a fully live, colorful book full of testimony about how you not only went through, but you overcame, and now you're helping other people to go through as well. So tell us, what type of impact do you want this book to make on the new readers that are going to get a chance to read this book?
Okay. So the impact that I want to make on those that would just be receiving it for the very first time, I want them to understand that they are strong. I want them to understand that they can remove all the negativity that they told themselves or that others have told them or their experiences have said, because people can lie to us. Our experience can lie to us. And then going through all that, we feel like we're worthless, that we're helpless, we're hopeless, all those things. So I want the impacts for them to understand that you are bold, you're courageous, you are positive, you are strong, you are enough, you are all those things that you didn't think that you were. You are God's child, you are loved, you are those things. So we need to start speaking those things into our lives. So hopefully the impact will be, you know what? I'm going to no longer be a victim of circumstance. I'm going to be a thriving survivor. I'm going to be one of those people that are going to be strong. I'm going to open my mouth and I'm going to speak. So that's the impact that I know it can have on the people. I just want them to understand when they get it, they know that they can be that.
I love it. I love it. And I can hear the passion in your voice, and just seeing some of the comments that are coming across the screen. People are really feeling this and really looking forward to getting their copy of the book. Again, and we want to let the audience know that the name of the book is No More. And it's a long title, so I want to make sure I am saying it right. When being a victim of sexual abuse is no longer an option, you can get your copy of the book. We'll give you that information before we end this broadcast. But I want to tell you, if you read the book, you look into the book, she's got some powerful people who have wrote acknowledgments and forwards in the book. And one person said that no more is more than a message. It's a movement. And they said it is not a book to bash abusers. It's a life manual teaching you to overcome your circumstances at all costs. And I just love, Lynn, how you use these great, powerful words. You talk about no more. You talk about overcoming. You talk about at all costs. All of this is wrapped up in this book, and is helping people to get their power back. You are using the pain that you went through to provide power to those who are either going through right now or will be going through in the future. How does it feel to be able to turn your frown upside down and go from that pain into this place of power that you're in right now?
It feels amazing. It literally, I really now feel like now I know why I was put on this earth. People always talk about their purpose and assignment and things like that, but I feel so good because, again, I removed me. I removed me from everything. Yes, the book was written by my story. It was written by me. Yes, all of that, but I removed myself, and God is going to get the glory with all of this. And so I feel so amazing because now I'm being so obedient, like he said. And when you are obedient, things get done. And so now that I'm obedient, now people are going to heal. And I know I'm one of those vessels that's going to help people heal. I'm not saying I'm going to heal everybody, but that I'm part of the assignment of helping those people heal. Those people come in contact with me or will receive the book, will receive healing.
I love it. And so here's what they want to know. This is what they really want to know. They want to know, how can readers get a copy of your book?
Yeah, so the first way I would tell you, Amazon, we're selling it on Amazon. And if you have Kindle, you can download it that way. But you can download it if you like to, because some people like to do that. But if you want this copy right here, you can get an autographed copy from me. I love to put like little affirmations and love notes and just thanking you and just inspiring you in there. So you get that from me. When you go to www.survivingwarriors.org. Again, www.survivingwarriors.org. And you request the book. I get that information. I send it out to you, and you have that personal touch. You have my autograph, and you will receive some love. And so those are the two ways that we have it right now where you can purchase it.
That is wonderful. So all you got to do to get your signed copy, and we believe in getting signed copies, because when Lynn blows up, you don't want to be the one that said, man, I could have had a signed copy of that book. Because, as you blow up, the prices go up. Somebody heard me say that. So get your signed copy of the book by going over to the website, www.survivingwarriors.org, and you can get your copy of the book, No More, When Being a Victim of Sexual Abuse is No Longer an Option. So go on over there to that website. And while they're putting that information down and getting ready to order their book with their credit card, why don't you tell us what are some of the other things you've been doing since you released the book?
Yes, I'm so passionate about healing. I am. I wouldn't be a licensed professional counselor if I wasn't. But since the book, I've done many speaking engagements to go out to educate those that need information on abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence, all of that. I've done that. I've created retreats. I'm doing women right now. Like I'm catering to women right now, but we will be doing retreats for men that have dealt with abuse, simply because I do have men on my caseload and they are dealing with a lot, and they're told that they shouldn't, but they are. So I've created retreats. Also, I'm so proud of this. This is something that's very new. We're going to actually start a podcast, but right now we have started a Facebook group. My partner and I'm gonna give her a shout out. Her name is Ira Warren. So we started a Facebook group, and it's called No More, Let the Healing Begin. Simply because that's where it starts. You start, let's acknowledge it, let's let it begin, and let's get it started. So we have started that Facebook group. So we're really excited about that. And just the fact that I still go out. I do podcast interviews. So I'm doing a lot. I'm just trying to get the word out. Not only am I trying to get out the book, but I'm also just trying to educate the people of what's happening, because it's just had, like, these numbers are ridiculous. So those are the type of things that I'm doing. And of course, I'm still taking clients, because when they find out that I'm a therapist, that I'm receiving referrals. So I'm doing all those things. I'm just really staying busy with the healing aspect.
Well, that's wonderful. Sounds like you are really walking in your purpose. And Ira wanted to make sure that we talked about the No More, Let the Healing Begin group that you had. So we wanted to make sure you got that out there. Mission accomplished. And so now, after people see this, of course, they're going to want to buy the book, but they're also, Lynn, going to want to have a closer relationship with you. They want to engage with you. They want to see how they can support you and what it is that you're doing. They want to bring you in for speaking engagements and for bookings. So how can they get in contact with you if they want to do that?
So when you want to book me, or when you want me to come in and speak, wherever, your church, your college, doesn't matter, you can reach out to me. My email address would be www.lynnmeyer, which is LYNNMEYER 616 @gmail.com. And so you can use that for bookings, or you can use that for speaking engagements.
All right. And we put that information on the screen. So if you want to reach out to her, bring her in to your community group or your organization to speak on sexual abuse or domestic violence or anything in between related to this topic, because there's far more things that occur after the abuse that needs to be taken care of. And she is a licensed professional counselor. So reach out to Lynn at Lynn Meyer 616 @gmail.com for any booking or speaking engagements. And again, if you want to get a copy of the book, a signed copy of the book, No More, When Being a Victim of Sexual Abuse is No Longer an Option, then we want you to head on over to her website. We want you to blow up her website. We want you to shut her website down by going to survivingwarriors.org and request your copy of the book. Well, it's been great talking to you and sharing this time with you, Lynn. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for overcoming your circumstances, for turning your pain into power, and recognizing that being a victim was no longer an option in your life. And I'm especially proud that now you're going out and teaching other people that they don't have to be a victim either. Too many of us carry a victim mentality after the victimization is over. And that's really what keeps us stuck. That's what keeps us stopped. And that's what stops us from being the unstoppable people that we were created to be. And you truly are unstoppable. You got the last word. What else do you want to share with our audience before our time is over?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Terrence, for allowing me to come on and be a guest. This has been it's been wonderful. So I appreciate that. I want to go back and reiterate what I stated before, because I feel like maybe that was passed over. I want those that are on live with us right now that may catch the replay, please understand you are where you are simply because you don't think you can. You can remove that victim label, as I did. You are strong, you're courageous, and understand that healing, restoration, and transformation are possible. No longer will you allow yourself to feel that you can't do. No longer will you allow for those lies to continue to play in your head. No longer will you do any of that. You are powerful. You are not pitiful. You are strong. You are God's child. So please understand that. And I just wanted to say thank you again for those that are going to come on. Just believe in yourself and know that you can get through this and you will be a conqueror.
I love it. And we're going to leave it right there. Again, this is Lynn Meyer. She is the author of the book No More: When Being a Victim of Sexual Abuse is No Longer an Option. We want you to go blow up her website and get your signed copy of the book at www.survivingwarriors.org. And if you are interested in speaking with Lynn about any booking or speaking engagements, go and email her at lynnmeyer616@gmail.com. I want you guys to understand that this book is just the beginning. This is where you can find your power. This is where you can manifest the change in your life. You may be at a defining moment right now where you didn't know what you were going to do in your situation because you hadn't heard from Lynn. Well, now you've heard from Lynn. You've heard how she has turned her pain into power, and she's no longer accepting the title of victimization. She found that she had the ability to not be stopped when she found her purpose. I want you to get your copy of this book so that you can turn your pain into power. You can turn your message into a movement like she's doing, and you can move from being stuck into being unstoppable, just like Lynn Meyer. No more will you settle for less when you can be unstoppable. Thank you so much, Lynn. We appreciate you. And as like we said, reach out to her at lynnmeyer616@gmail.com or go to her website at survivingwarriors.org to get your copy of the book No More. I'm Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge. This has been another Unstoppable Author Showcase. And as always, wherever you are in the world today, don't just make it a great day. Decide that you're no more and you're no longer going to accept less. And then you go and make it an unstoppable day. Take care.